I now recognize Representative Steve Chabot of Ohio, who's the ranking member of the Subcommittee on Asia, the Pacific, Central Asia, and Nonproliferation for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Secretary, as has already been stated, the PRC is one of the worst actors on the world scene, whether we're talking about stealing $500 billion of our intellectual property every year, or employing unfair trade practices that undermine our economy and destroy American jobs, or conducting massive military buildup, or using aggressive bullying tactics against Japan, Taiwan, Philippines, India, Australia, Vietnam, and others. In fact, if you read an article in the Wall Street Journal this morning, you can even add Sweden to that list, not to mention the atrocities against the Uyghurs, Tibetans, Falun Gong, the crackdown on Hong Kong, and a variety of other behaviors aimed at reorienting the world to revolve around Beijing. Indeed, when he testified in March, Secretary Blinken said that confronting this menace is the biggest geopolitical test of the 21st century. Now, I know you're focused on climate, but the American people deserve to know where this administration's priorities really are. Is it climate change that's the top priority for this administration, or is it confronting a more and more aggressive Chinese Communist Party? I know you'll probably say something along the lines that we can walk and chew gum at the same time, and I get that. But when push comes to shove, and the President has to either play nice with China to get them to cooperate on climate change, or confront them on their latest attempt at stealing American jobs, or bullying an ally, or committing genocide, what's it going to be, Mr. Secretary, in your opinion?
It has to be all of the above. There's no choice. This is not an either-or, and the President doesn't see it as either-or. The best way the United States of America, frankly, can aggregate our efforts to deal with these many different legitimate concerns about China's behavior is for us to be strong. The stronger the United States is, you're going to address more of these issues. And by stronger, I mean one of the things that I overheard years ago was the new narrative that's coming out of China about how this century is the century of China, and the United States is in decline, and the West is in decline, and the liberal order of the West is in decline, and that they can't make decisions, and they can't pass budgets, and they don't get anything done. They're not investing in their country. I have heard this out there. And I just have to tell you that the best thing we could do is be more competitive. When I say 73% of these items are being built in China and sold around the world, they're cornering the market on that. Why aren't we? What has happened to us that we're not the country that's pushing the curve on the technology, on the R&D? Now, that's what President Biden has put forward.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. The chair's been he's been pretty strict with our time, and I'm running out of time, so I want to get one more question in if I can. And I commend him for being strict with all of us. When you signed the Paris Agreement and praised China for participating, China at that time emitted about 20% of the total global emissions. Now they've gone up to 27%. And even though the previous administration had pulled us out, we've been going down. And in fact, since 2005, we've gone down, I believe it's 4 billion tons, a billion tons, and they've gone up 4 billion tons. So they're going in just the wrong direction, and we're going in the right direction. And I think the United States should be commended for that. But as some of the other members have indicated, even if we reach an agreement with the PRC on this, in light of the fact that they pretty much break every international agreement that they make, why should we trust them? I know we say trust and verify, but there's a lot of skepticism on not only by this committee, I think, but the American people for good reason overall. So in the short time that I've got left, could you address that lack of trust to the PRC as to whether they'll follow up and agree to this?
Well, obviously, the lack of trust is real. I mean, they don't trust us, and we don't trust them. And we have to find a way forward in the midst of that, because we have a global crisis that can't be solved by any one.
Gentleman's time has expired.